Hi, Kudar. How are you? Thanks for this platform. Today I have some serious question. And first of all, I start to follow your channel and YouTube because of one video that you posted. It's about your foreign student life and to become a successful English mentor. So that story is pretty much aligned with my student life in Canada because I also had hard time to accommodate Canadian culture, the language, because especially I'm from India, so the India is like the way I learned English all about grammatical structure. Once I landed in Canada, I do understand is whatever I learned is nothing. So I have to reform myself to communicate with others. So and the main difference between you and me is you went as a student you went on to become mastering the language. I'm kind of stuck in my mediocre level. So my question is, as you can see, my accent is all over the place. So how
Mm.
can I tone it down? How can I neutralize my accent, become more comprehend? And my second question is, during your student period, how much time you put in English to uplevel the language? So these are the two questions. I'm looking forward to your answer. Thank you.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here, and I'll try to be really concise. First of all, your accent is not all over the place. Don't, start thinking things that will make you feel bad about how you sound anyway. You're in the process of learning and improving your clarity, and all of that is great. At the same time, it's not all over the place. You're just carrying some patterns from your native language, and that is very natural to every speaker of English as a second language. Second, I wouldn't throw into the garbage everything that you've learned up until now. It serves you, it has served you. And yes, maybe you need to do some small shifts, and that is okay. But at the same time, we don't want to disregard or dismiss our journey up until now because it really creates that frustrating feeling or, like feeling like you've done so many things in vain. And, everything that you've learned is there for you. Maybe you don't actively use it right now, but it's there for you and it has brought you to where you are today, which is, in Canada, you're doing well, you're learning, and all of that is admirable. So let's go back to your two questions. The first question is, how much did I put into my studies to get to where I am today? And the second question was, how can you improve your pronunciation? So, first of all, don't forget that right now what you see is not me coming fresh out of school, right? There are like 15, almost 20 years of real life practice and teaching and being in front of the camera, like hours and hours and hours of being in front of the camera speaking English, which means that has really helped me improve and get to where I am today. This is not where I was when I just finished school. I didn't have the confidence that I have today. I didn't have that flow and fluency and energy. I had something else going for me, right? And definitely, I've worked on my pronunciation, so definitely I had the sounds that I have today, but you can't look at someone who is, further down the road than you and compare yourself to them. It's just not fair to where you are today, right? It's, don't use it as another reason to make yourself feel bad about where you are today. And when I finished school, I was immersed in English. I worked in English. All my friends were English speakers. So I was using the language continuously and I was working on texts continuously. So I don't remember sitting for an hour or two after school or even during school. Like in school, I just did, what I had to do for school. I had speech exercises, but I also had acting exercises. So I had all of these things going for me and I was working in English. So English was the means to an end, which was to express myself as an actor in English. But it wasn't me just learning and practicing English. Find something that you're passionate about, that you really want to do, and just do a lot of it and just happen to do it in English. That alone is going to really help you and make it a lot less boring. And if you want to get a number as to, how much time you need to spend, you have to look at your schedule, you have to look at the life that you live, you have to see how much time you have available for you, at what point you get tired and then or bored with the work that you do, and then it becomes pointless. So it's not just about doing it for many hours, it's about being very efficient and effective when you are practicing, right? So that is the metrics that you need to measure, not the length of your practice. So these are the things that I want you to look into as you're planning your practice. And as to identifying what you need to work on, first of all, discover the sounds that are tricky for you, that are hard to pronounce, the sounds in English that are hard to pronounce. Identify the sounds that make you sound a little less clear when you talk to other people. If you're speaking with friends and they ask you to repeat yourself, then ask them, what was it that was unclear? Which word? And write down that word and see if there is a sound that keeps repeating in those words. Even if they don't tell you what that word was, you can just write it down, the thing that you were trying to say and wasn't clear, right? So start collecting these clues that will give you an idea as to what are the sounds that you're struggling with or that other people struggle with understanding you when you're using them. And then all you need to do is find a resource to learn how to pronounce that sound. I have videos on how to make almost all sounds in English on my YouTube channel. So, learn how to do it and then practice it again and again and again. Practice a sound in words, phrases, and sentences. Let's say the V and the W are a challenge for you. Then, practice words, phrases, and sentences with V's and W's until you feel like you're nailing it every single time. And then trust that it will start to be there for you when you're speaking. It's not going to automatically be there for you, but it will start being there as you're speaking, and the more you practice, the more it's going to be there for you. And then imitation exercises and a lot of intentional practice when you're practicing speaking, thinking about sounds that you'd like to improve. This is how you start working on your pronunciation. You have to be aware, you have to be intentional, and you have to plan your practice. I hope this helps.